Hello, welcome to Count the Bucket. With your host, Zach Cox. Let's get this money.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Count the Bucket. And by the way, how about that new intro song, though?
That's fire.
that new song is fire. We're back, man. Last time we spoke, we did a little bit of our first round previews and predictions. Couple pretty interesting series. I think the more intriguing series are obviously out west. So we will start there with the number one seed in the West, arguably the favorite to win the NBA title. The Golden State Warriors cannot get away from the number 3-1, bro. And they blew a 31-point lead, the largest comeback in playoff NBA history. I believe with like 7 or 8 minutes left in the third quarter. The BPI that all these freaking people use on Twitter gave them a 0.01% chance of winning the basketball game, the Clippers.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It was almost like your classic, don't let up, don't take your foot off the gas. But I mean, they were up 30, to be fair.
Yeah.
Problem with Golden State in the fourth quarter, they couldn't score. And my boy, Sweet Lou, oh my goodness, was he a walking bucket in the fourth quarter. That man was fuego, on fire. I mean, obviously, the Warriors are probably still going to win this series, but damn, man, the Clippers are making it interesting. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, shout out to Boogie real quick. That injury is awful. I don't know if that really had much of an impact on the game because it was so early in the game, but
yeah. So they came out and they said torn quad, and maybe a chance that he can return for the finals. But it's looking pretty pessimistic. You feel bad for him, and that's no bueno.
But yeah, as far as the Clippers, man, they are just a grindy team. I knew this coming in. I knew they most likely they were going to get swept, but I knew they were going to give them some hard games and grind them out.
Yeah.
Montrezl Harrell, Lou Will, even JaMychal Green, obviously Pat Bev.
Yeah.
Pat Bev only scored 10 points, but you would argue he probably had one of the biggest impacts in the game besides maybe Lou Will.
No doubt, yeah.
But yeah, another guy, Montrezl Harrell, had a great game, showing that he is like a legit six-man contender with the sixth man of the year on his team. So yeah, I was very impressed by the Clippers last night. Very, very interesting team.
Yeah, I mean, this is just this is what we've been saying about them all year. They just play so well together, and I don't know if it's Doc. I mean, shout out to him. He's been great with this team, obviously losing Tobias, and even they had Avery Bradley, who was a great player. They traded him as well, and Mike Scott. I mean, these are solid role players, and they are still able to fill these voids with guys like their young players, Shamet and Shai Gilgeous. You mentioned JaMychal Green. Wilson Chandler even got in for a little bit of time.
And shout out to Landry Shamet with probably the biggest shot of the game.
Cold.
Sealed it.
And I mean, I saw a couple tweets like, now you know why the Clippers traded Tobias Harris for Landry Shamet.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't straight up, but yeah,
it's the joke. Yeah, I mean he's been a great 3-point shooter all year long, and I was really impressed with his lateral defense, man.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
A couple of those last possessions, he was just watching the hips of Steph Curry. Steph was trying to shake and bake, and he could not lose him. And I think I mentioned it over a text to you. When you have Beverly, Shamet, and Shai Gilgeous just to rotate on Steph, I mean, it makes it difficult for him.
Yep.
I'm not saying Steph can probably give any one of those three a bucket at any point in time, but
absolutely can.
Yeah, but over the course of a game, imagine Beverly in your face, and then you get a new look, and then Shai Gilgeous with his length come in. You're like, oh, that's got to be frustrating for Steph.
I gotta say though, the one thing that I know everyone's been harping on, Pat Bev kind of locked up Durant.
He did. He was a pest. Durant
9 turnovers.
Yeah, Durant did not have his best game. Struggled to even find a shot. He only shot 8 times.
Yep.
Obviously, the 9 turnovers are not good. I got the box score in front of me. Klay Thompson was a -15, which is not like him. I don't know. I feel like sometimes you hate to see Boogie go down, and it obviously hurts their depth. The Warriors, which they kind of pride themselves on, and how they put together this team. But
Mhm.
I kind of think it might almost be like addition by subtraction. I feel bad for Boogie, but I just feel like Game 3, the Warriors are going to play so good. They're going to look like a different team. I mean, they'll just start Bogut, who knows that system in and out. I don't know. I just feel like they're going to play so much better, not having to worry. Okay, we got to get Boogie some touches.
I'm gonna disagree with you there. When I look at this roster, I see five guys that can shoot the ball on the team. All five guys without even going small. That was the thing about that death lineup that they had. They had Draymond and Iguodala in the game, so literally 1 through 5 could shoot the ball, and they'd
Yeah,
space you out as far as possible, and then anyone had room to operate, which helps Kevin Durant a lot, helps Curry a lot. They can just get their offense going.
yeah.
Now, not only is the bench shrinking, but you're shrinking in size, you're shrinking in talent on the court, and I don't really think I wouldn't trust Draymond at that small ball center anymore. I don't think he's the same player he used to be. So I think this makes him a lot more vulnerable in the West, especially against the Rockets, because one thing they did
Yeah,
last year is
yeah, no,
dominated them on the boards.
definitely. I was more talking about for this series, but yeah, I mean, if
Oh
they
yeah.
when they come up against probably the Rockets would they play them in the second round
Yep.
or the conference semi? Yeah, second
Second.
round. Capella and Nene and Kenneth Faried, they will be problems down low for
Hmm.
Draymond and Bogut, no doubt. Yeah, but yeah, it sucks for Boogie. I just love how this Clippers team is playing, man. No fear. They got nothing to lose. Like after they won that game, you saw every single player's reaction. Like they were like so pumped. Like Harrell and Beverly were like, oh, like like flexing with each other. Like that's just like you love to see that. And oh man, it makes me so happy to see the Warriors lose. I know we were talking about it a little bit uh, over text. Like I know you want to see them lose at any cost, but I want them to get to the finals and then lose because nothing makes me happier than seeing them disappointed. Game 7, 2016, man, when Cleveland beat them in Game 7, it was like the best day ever.
That was awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
So it'll be a good series. I believe Game 3 is back in LA Thursday night. So we'll see how they react. I'm predicting the Warriors come out and actually beat them by 30. And I expect Steph and Clay to have really big games, maybe Durant too, but maybe the Clippers got the right game plan and they're just going to get in KD's head and have him implode. I guess that's a good way of beating him.
I
Guess
think
we'll
what
see.
I'm gonna predict that Durant kind of snaps out of it and has a really good game, but I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I think it's going to go down to the fourth quarter, but I think the Warriors ultimately win and probably end up winning out for the rest of the series.
Yeah. I think there was like a viral clip today of KD doing an interview. I don't know if you saw it,
Hmm.
and they were asking him about Beverly. And man, I mean, he basically stated what the Clippers' game plan was, and their game plan is to really hone in on Durant, make other people beat you, which honestly is not a bad strategy. I'm not even gonna
Yeah,
lie with this team. I mean, it sucks when you have to make Steph and Clay beat you because they probably will, but Kevin Durant is probably the best, if not second best player in the world right now.
oh, definitely.
So he was
But
like
I was
very
talking to someone
detailed
else
answer.
about this. It kind of reminds me of, if you remember, back when he was on the Thunder and they were playing the Clippers, and I forget which round it was, and I don't remember which year, but they put Chris Paul on him. And I remember Chris Paul was giving him a lot of problems, man.
Just
Just a guy to
flustered him.
get right up in his waist. You can't really dance with them. They're staying in front of you. They force you to like play the big man role, and he
Yeah.
doesn't really like playing like
Yeah,
that.
because naturally Durant's just going to want to slow his game down,
Yeah,
face up, and shoot right over the top of him. But when you got other guys waiting for you to put the ball on the ground or a guy, in the paint waiting for you to drive, you're kind of like, you're just stuck.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Good series so far, man. What an incredible game. One of the best playoff games I've seen. I can't believe I didn't turn the game off. I was almost about to, and then I flipped back and they were starting to make that run. So that was unbelievable. But we'll move on to the other game in the East that same night. It was before the Warriors game. Game 2 of the Sixers Nets. First off, game 1, what a performance by the Brooklyn Nets.
Hmm.
They came out and almost, bee slapped Philly right in the face and said, "Hey, we're here. You're not just gonna walk right over us."
Yep.
Simmons didn't have the best game. Embiid didn't have the best game. Jimmy Butler started strong, but then didn't quite end the best. But when those three guys on Brooklyn, D'Lo, Spencer, and LeVert are getting theirs, man, they look very fluent on offense. Game 2 was a little bit of a different story. Philly came out and flexed a little bit, physically and just on the scoreboard. We'll get to that in a minute. But what are your thoughts on this series so far?
It's kind of going a similar way I thought it would. I knew D'Angelo would be able to get his. I didn't really think that LeVert and Dinwiddie would be playing the way they would. But they've been pleasantly surprising me. I knew Jarrett Allen was going to give Embiid some problems.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I keep telling people he's one of the most underrated defenders in the league, and I think he's got Defensive Player of the Year potential in the coming years. Really reminds me of Gobert a lot. But,
super long and just has good instincts. Yeah,
great instincts. Really coordinated when he's trying to block. But as far as the Sixers, they're an interesting team because I feel like they're almost a better team when they're spreading the ball around, and it's not one guy has to get his and another guy has to get his.
Yeah,
it's a team. Like they should play. They should look at the tape of how the Warriors used to play, whereas we know we have the more talent, the better players, and we're just going to dominate you as a whole.
Yeah.
So you don't know who to guard. You can't key on one person. You know what I mean? And even their bench was playing well in that game, so it was a very impressive win for me. I'd like to see them duplicated.
Yeah, it seemed like to me that they just turned it on, and I don't love that. Obviously, I picked Philly to make the finals because we see the potential with this group, like you said, when they're all clicking and sharing the ball and bringing that intensity on defense, led by Jimmy Butler. I think when he's the focal point of that defense, like they can lock teams up. JJ Redick's not the best defender, but he can guard a perimeter guy.
You can chase someone around.
Yeah, Embiid's a great perimeter defender. Rim protector. And Simmons is a really good defender. He's bigger and stronger than most of the people that he guards. So as long as Simmons stays aggressive, I think he is kind of the focal point of the offense, like you said, making sure everybody gets a touch. Game 1, there were times where I feel like I didn't even know Tobias was out on the floor. And, he's a good player. Let's get him the ball, get him some looks. Brett Brown, a lot of people are saying that he's coaching for his job right now. That if he doesn't at least make the conference finals, that they might go in a different direction. A couple assistants on the bench have been rumored to maybe take his position, but
it kind of seems similar to me. It kind of seems similar to the when the Warriors had Mark Jackson and they made that transition to Steve Kerr.
Yeah,
I think they might need that. I don't know.
Yeah. So what the heck? Okay. So yeah. Good series so far. I still expect it to be pretty competitive with Brooklyn. Hopefully they get a home court at the Barclays. They were second to last in home attendance all year. Our family's from New York. I hope they at least get a good home court. That's what playoff basketball is all about, and they're gonna need some intensity to maybe steal another game in Brooklyn and make this go 6. I still think Philly wins the series. It'll be just a matter of if they want to close it out quickly in 5 or if it's going to go 6 or 7. It could easily happen.
Yep.
So, then last night had a couple of crazy games. Well, not really crazy, but a couple ones that went right to the wire. We'll start off with one that didn't really go to the wire. The Toronto Orlando series kind of went exactly how people thought for game 2. Game 1 was a different story. Kyle Lowry, bro.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Every year.
I don't know if it's mental with him, if it's just he's not ready for the playoff defense.
What I think it is which I've seen this with a bunch of point guards, even Steph, earlier in his career. It's such a different, like you just said, it's such a different defense when you get to the playoffs. It's
the intensity, yeah. It just switches
small
on.
Small guys, they struggle in the playoffs. It's way more physical. People are trying 100% every possession. So if your shot's not hitting, you're a small guy, you're going to struggle.
So Orlando pulled game 1 out of their ass. Shout out to DJ Augustine, man. That was a cold-blooded shot. The Magic are a solid team, but they are not in the same breath of air as Toronto, as they showed in Game 2. Lowry, much better game in Game 2, 22 points, 7 assists, couple steals, couple boards, shot pretty well. That's what you need. You just need that.
The real difference, though, I think in that game was Kawhi finally just did what he was supposed to do.
Oh,
Just got to take over.
Kawhi was in his bag. Yeah.
Take
And that's
over and dominate their best player on defense.
a little bit of Mamba mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Who is guarding him on Orlando? Let's be honest. Aaron Gordon, maybe.
Maybe.
And he's not stopping that. In game 2, Marcus Gasol had 9 points and 3 boards. Like if he's having that, and the Raptors are still winning by almost 30, the Raptors should be pretty well. Also, your boy, man, Pascal, looking very, very good. And if he plays really well this whole playoffs, man, the Raptors have a super strong chance to make the finals.
Yep.
Potential next round matchup with Philly that scares me as I picked Philly to make the finals. But yeah, like we said, not much going on with this series. Maybe Orlando steals one back at their home court. I doubt it. Now that Toronto's kind of got it figured out, that coach seems to know what he's doing. You just notice the difference on the defensive end. Like,
yeah,
they just have
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We'll go to the second game of the night, which I did say. You got to give me a little credit with the Spurs-Nuggets series. I was a little nervous for the Denver Nuggets. Game 2 was incredible last night. That boy Jamal Murray, he pulled out the bow, and he went whoopong, and he was on fire in the fourth quarter, bro. Unconscious. Started off the game horrendous. I think he was like 0 for 9 or something. So yeah. But can you hear me right now?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, Denver pulled out game 2. Jokic had, I want to say, 21 points, 8 assists, 13 boards. Jamal Murray, like we just said at the end of the game, literally put the nail in the coffin for them. I know you're a big Nuggets guy. I know you like a lot of your young players. I still think this series is going to be close. I still like the Spurs edging it out. But how are you feeling about the series so far?
Well, I'd say it's definitely more a tougher series than I expected. A lot of the younger guys on the Spurs are playing way better than I thought they would. Derek White absolutely demolished Paul Millsap. Put that man in a body bag.
Yeah,
that hurt to watch.
Millsap can't get out
even
of
the
his own
Nuggets
way, man. How many bodies is Millsap?
Yeah,
that dude's got a graveyard.
Yeah, he has been put on posters. But as far as the Nuggets go, I think first of all, that was their first game ever, last game in the playoffs as a unit. So they're figuring out right now. They gotta figure out playoff defense. I think one of the biggest things from last game was they found their closer, and that's Jamal Murray.
Yeah,
I've been saying for the longest time they need that one guy at the end of the games that you give the ball to, and I knew it would be Jamal Murray. That guy, he has the potential for it. He's got to step up now. Not thrilled with his first half performance.
That was Kyle Lowry like, yeah.
Yeah, that's been his thing. He just can't stay consistent. But if he can just put a consistent game together like that and close the game for us, Jokic is going to be there. He'll give you what he gets. Gary Harris had a good game too. I need him to be the shooter that he is. If we can do all that, the bench is where it is. I think they win it in 6 or 7.
Yeah. I knew Popovich in the playoffs, what he's going to do, whoever he's playing, he's going to try and take away your most important player. And for the Denver Nuggets all year long, he's been an MVP candidate. That's Jokic.
Yep.
And if you can hold Jokic to 21 points and 8 assists, I mean, I will take that. Especially in a playoff game on their home court. That's not that terrible. It's when he gets the lines of like 18 points and 16 assists where I'm like, oh my, he's doing whatever he wants out there, because he's not. He can score at will if he wants, but he's obviously one of the best passers in the league. I tweeted it out last night. You mentioned it. This series, as a matter of fact, is on the Denver backcourt. I couldn't agree more with you. Jamal, Gary, even Monte Morris, they got to step up and outplay the San Antonio backcourt because yes, Derek White's a good player, but like, who else is in that backcourt? I mean, Bryn Forbes. DeRozan is more of like a 2-3. He can score. They're not really going to guard him necessarily, but Jokic is going to be contained. Not saying he could still have a really good game in San Antonio and go off. That can happen at any given time, but Gary and Jamal really got to step up. Jamal saved that game last night for Denver, man. San Antonio was about to take a 2-0 lead. They're going back home, though. They got one in Denver. I think Pop is super confident about their game plan. They looked lost in the fourth quarter defensively. I mean, Jamal was getting wide open looks, which, let's be honest, in the first round series, that shouldn't happen.
No.
Yeah, and I'm sure Pop let his team know about that in the locker room after. But this will be a good series. I just knew that these teams matched up so similarly, you know?
Yeah.
And we'll move on to the next game, the OKC Portland series. I feel like OKC is now realizing that Portland matches up with them extremely well on the defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
They're very deep. They got a lot of bodies like Al Farouk and Harkless and Evan Turner. And like these guys are all athletes. And they're pretty similar in terms of OKC. They got their two guys that score, and then everybody else knows their role and plays defense.
Yeah.
OKC gets, I would say, embarrassed, but I mean, they were fighting, but they just got beat. They got beat very badly last night. Portland takes a commanding 2-0 series. I mean, now for OKC, Game 3 is a must-win. You got to go back to defend home court and take care of business. What are your thoughts so far on this series?
Well, first of all, series never starts till the home team loses. So that's the first thing. You gotta let them defend home court. But at the same time, this is exactly what I mentioned before the playoffs even started. The Thunder are gonna win or lose by Russell Westbrook, and he has been playing pitiful right now.
Yeah.
To say Damian Lillard's outplaying him is honestly an understatement. To be fair,
Lillard is good.
Damian Lillard looks like a Steph Curry type player right now.
He is, yeah. He's in another echelon right now.
He's been pulling up from 30 feet, and it's just in his wheelhouse. Easy.
OKC, are we really confident in putting Raymond Felton on this man? Did you see that? He toyed with him.
Oh my! Why? Like, I love Raymond Felton. You know, he's one of my favorite players, or used to be.
Yeah.
He's too old, man.
He's too slow.
You already have Dennis Schroeder. He can't guard anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying this before. I knew the Trailblazers still had the depth. Cantor's been playing out of his mind lately. Didn't have a great game last night, which is a little concerning. But first game, he was grabbing boards all over the place. Literally, it was literally a matter of CJ and Dame outplaying Paul George and Westbrook. And the other thing with that is, a lot of people are saying Paul George is playing through injury right now, and not a good one you want to have for a shooter. People are saying he might have a torn labrum, which is right on your shooting arm. You don't want a shoulder injury when you're, especially on your shooting arm.
Yeah.
So if he's injured, they don't really have a great chance of winning the series. Now, if they go back home, Westbrook can physically dominate like he used to McCollum and Damian, and Paul George is in his bag again and gives them that three-point shooting they need. Also, the bench for the Thunder's just not been playing well.
I was going to say.
Not been playing well. Especially Jeremy Grant, Terrence Ferguson, they're two starters. You can't combine for 12 points.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your point, and I agree more. I mean, guys got to step up for OKC, which I think is a little bit of Westbrook's problem. Westbrook is still trying to get his, which he's going to play the way he's going to play, but I feel like sometimes he doesn't trust his teammates enough. And it's weird because he's one of the best passers in the league, if not the best. But, like, I almost don't blame him. Markieff, Jeremy Grant, Terrence Ferguson, even Schroeder, Nader's not really going to give you much. Who else is going to step up and hit a shot? Steven Adams isn't your pure offensive scorer. It's him and PG out there by himself. And then I feel like if he does pass to Jeremy Grant or Terrence Ferguson and they get him an open look and they just miss, he's like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not going to pass it to them again. I trust myself more to take it to the rim. And that's when he gets in this, like, tunnel vision of, like, 5 for 20. Like, dude, you can't do that in the playoffs. Like, I thought we learned that last year.
I personally think, and this is the other thing, the Thunder got to get rid of Billy Donovan. He's just not
I was
going
to say, is this kind of on him? Like, if you go down 6-8 and you're sensing, I know Westbrook's hard to coach probably, but you're sensing he's getting that tunnel vision or just hucking up shots, like, call a timeout, coach.
Mm-hmm.
You're the coach.
Yeah.
Take him out, put Schroeder in, let him operate that offense for a little bit if it's that bad. I mean, obviously Westbrook's going to be playing almost 40 minutes a night, but I don't know.
I think another thing that the Thunder should look into is why not start Dennis Schroeder at the 2?
Yeah.
He can match up perfectly fine with CJ. I think he'd probably guard him better than Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah.
Terrence Ferguson's like 20 years old. I don't really trust him in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I want to start Jeremy Grant. I know he had a great regular season.
The only reason he's out there is for defense.
I'd rather put Markieff Morris out there. I think he'd space the floor out a little bit more. He's a pretty good defender. Not as good of an athlete as Jeremy Grant, but we could use that energy off the bench. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of room for adjustments here, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Portland has a super like very good like home crowd. Obviously Portland was juiced up. They're playing for their boy Nurkic. Like that's I hate to say like it's not good that Nurkic got hurt, but sometimes like when something traumatic like that happens to a group of guys, man, they really rally around that. And you could tell, man, Portland was playing with a different type of energy on defense, and that home court was right behind them. OKC has an amazing home court, so I'm not counting them out of the series, not yet. I still picked them to win the series. I don't know if Billy Donovan's going to switch stuff up for Game 3. I think maybe he'll just roll with the same thing and see if they play with a little bit of a different juice. I don't know. But, I mean, Portland picked up Rodney Hood. They still got Seth Curry. They got Zach Collins, who plays some minutes. Myers Leonard is stepping up a little bit. And Turner, like, they're deep. Luckily, they were deep enough that, like you said, they scooped Canner. So I feel like if OKC got drawn Denver or San Antonio, I feel like for their play style it would have been so much better. Yeah. Because I'm sensing now that Portland is liking the way like OKC is playing right now. Is playing against them.
Oh yeah.
And did you see the clip, man, of Lillard contesting Westbrook's three and he bricks it and he's all jacked up. Yeah. And I forget who got the rebound. I think it was Cantor, just like handed it right off to him. Lillard took like one dribble, two dribble, stop, pull from like 33 feet, bang, and he said, "Bombs away, baby." Oh man, that was pretty dope. I'm not even gonna lie.
I feel happy for Damian because
this is his time. It's Dame time, man.
And listen, he got embarrassed last year.
Yes, that's true.
That was a really bad series for him.
They were looking ahead, I think.
That was the only time I've ever really questioned if Damian was a top level player, but he has answered all those questions with this series so far. So hopefully he keeps it up.
Nurkic was obviously not at the game. He probably got his leg up on a bunch of pillows and in a full cast, but he was tweeting out gifs of just like him behind Lillard in an interview, like pointing at his wrist, like, "Hello, it's Dame time, baby." Dame time. So yeah. Hopefully it'll be. I hope it's still a competitive series. I think it will be. Still picking OKC. I guess I'm going to say in 7 now. I think this will go 7. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. So some good games going on in the Western Conference. We'll do a quick preview of the games tonight. I'm going to try and get this episode out tonight before the games, but we got 2 of the other series in the Eastern Conference, which are interesting, but I think people know how they're going to go. Boston, Indiana, game 1. I mean, Boston just put the clamps on that team. Mm-hmm. And it kind of showed that Indiana does not have their guy, their star, their leader, Oladipo. They're a very solid team. Will be a competitive series with Boston. I think I said Boston in 5. I hope they don't start looking ahead. I hope they just keep the gas on the pedal. First play, though, Kyrie in his bag. A little bit of crazy little fake half spin into the fadeaway jumper. That's the type of moves I like to see from Uncle Drew early on. Still confident in the series. Any chance Indiana can steal a game here, or are you thinking otherwise?
I still think Indiana may sneak one game out on their home court, but the biggest takeaway I'm taking from this series is the Celtics might have the best defense in the East. Maybe the Raptors have a little bit better, but even Kyrie's been playing pretty good defense. Yeah. Holding a team to 74 points in today's NBA is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So yeah. If they can establish themselves as...
What was it, like 9? They held them to 9 points in the third quarter or something like that? It was wild. Crazy. It was single digits, I'm pretty sure.
But if they can slow people down like that, play good defense, and let Brad Stevens just kind of...
Brad Stevens' way, yeah.
Yep, just operate, and they'll be in good shape. So hopefully you can keep it up.
And keep in mind, this is without Marcus Smart.
Yep. One of my best defender.
Yeah, one of my favorite podcasts I listen to, Part of My Take, their producer is a huge Celtics fan, and he was like, I admitted when we lost Marcus Smart, I was extremely worried about this team. He's like, but I'm going to take it back because now Kyrie and Rozier, Tatum, Horford, they all get to be out there. They get to mesh more, and defensively, it's looking like a very, very solid team. And Rozier, I like when Rozier gets more minutes.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of his game. He needs more minutes. It's tough when you have Smart, Kyrie, him. that's tough for Brad Stevens. But
I'm gonna be honest. I think the 2 point guard sets and even the 3 point guards with maybe one big guard like Marcus Morris or Marcus Smart. I think that's working a lot. The Clippers were showing that.
you've been saying it, dude. You've been saying it from the beginning of this year. You want to see a lot. You're gonna see a lot more two guard sets,
Yep.
2 point guards. So, then the other series in the East. I mean, it kind of sucks because I wish we could. Can we like switch out a team last minute? Can Detroit not be in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Milwaukee, man.
Not
Giannis,
even-
I'm
not
unstoppable.
Listen, not even that. It's the Pistons. It's the Pistons without Blake Griffin.
Yeah,
which was their
he
only
got
chance.
hurt. No more Blake Griffin for the series. This will be a sweep very quickly. How many points does Giannis go for tonight?
I'm gonna say 24 in 20 minutes.
He'll probably not even play in the second half. You said it, bro. We're gonna see a different version of Giannis, and I think the whole East is on watch now. More
Yep.
importantly, I think Boston is like, oh shit.
Yep.
I'm
Well-
very excited for that. Giannis
Plus-
is going to be unstoppable.
We're still waiting on Brogdon and Mirotic to come back.
Yep.
2 guys who can space the floor. Also, I saw this the other day, and it was one of the most impressive stats I've seen. Brogdon was the only 40, 50, 90 player this season.
Yeah.
I did not know he was that much of a shooter. So
Yeah,
that's
he really
very
amped up his 3-point shooting this year, and
Mhm.
yeah. If they get those two back healthy, yeah, I mean they've been favorites to make the finals all year. It's just something about like Milwaukee. I don't know. Like I would love if they make the finals, but Toronto and Philly are sitting there on the other side, and we'll see. And Boston, man, that'll be a super tough series if they
I'm just
meet
saying-
next round.
The thing that they used to do for Giannis was, all right, let's pack the paint. Let's make sure he turns
Or
into a
force him
passer.
to shoot. Yeah,
Yeah.
force him to shoot.
But you can't do that anymore, man.
Yeah.
Even the people that force him to shoot, all it's doing is giving him a head start. You're just
Exactly.
giving him a running start to the basket, and he's going to do the Euro, he's going to do the spin,
Or he's just gonna
overpower
body you. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's
So-
so strong.
Now that you got Brook as a shooter, Brogdon as a shooter if he comes back, Middleton as a shooter if he comes back, Bledsoe's a capable shooter, not the greatest, Mirotic as a shooter, you're just Tony Snell as a shooter.
Yeah.
That's a lot of space for Giannis to occupy. So
Yeah.
they are a scary team, and that game against the Pistons, the first one, I think they were up 20 points in the first 3 minutes, maybe. It was ridiculous.
Oh man. I mean, good for Detroit to make the playoffs, but like you don't belong on the same court. It's not really a question, it's just an interesting question. If you take Giannis off that Bucks team and you put LeBron on that Bucks team, they beating the Warriors?
Yes.
I just like
Yeah.
that is a roster that was assembled for LeBron James, which is
Yep.
a good model to assemble a roster for Giannis because they're pretty similar
Absolutely.
players, you know.
Mhm.
I think your point about how teams try and sag off of him is the worst strategy. Couldn't agree more. I think Ben Simmons could learn a little bit from that too, because
Yep.
that's exactly what a lot of teams are trying to do with him. But he's so big and quick and strong. Just go attack.
Yep.
They're giving you a lane to go full speed. Like
Plus, people used to do the same thing with Rajon Rondo.
Yep.
And
people
I
used to
think
do it with
Simmons-
Bron.
Yep, they used to do it with Braun too. All it does is give you room to operate, room to survey the floor, take your time. It's just that doesn't work. It really does not work, especially if you have other people around that can score.
Yeah. So I don't know. What would you like? How much would the ratings dip? You think if it was like a Milwaukee Portland finals?
Well, yeah, I mean, no one wants to watch
Two
Portland. I'm
markets.
telling you,
Two
though,
markets
I
that
really
nobody
think-
cares about.
I really think people. It's not even about the Bucks in the finals. It's about Giannis in the finals, and they'll sell that more than anything.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
and
they
people
will.
watch it just for that.
Hopefully, this is his coming out party, and he's the next guy. And for the face of the league, I saw a headline. Can a non-North American player be the face of the NBA? Like what, dude? Like, it's just so stupid sometimes. Then the last game tonight, the late night game, the Utah Jazz against the Houston Rockets. We talked about it on our preview. It's just such a bad matchup for the Jazz. It's not how they want to play. Last year, Jazz Thunder was perfect for them. Rockets are healthy, home court. Harden's feeling good. CP's feeling good. Maybe Jazz make it competitive tonight, but it's just a complete mismatch for me. I mean, yeah. What are your thoughts?
Well, I still think I still think the Jazz might have one of those nights where everything's clicking and the Rockets have a bad shooting night. I think they might be able to steal one, but at the same time, like you just said, it's the worst matchup they could have gotten.
It's just not how Utah wants to play. You know,
No.
they want to play in the half court. They want to show their defense. They want to get Gobert protecting that paint. And the Rockets are just so good in transition. And if they hit, 35% of their threes, they're going to put up 120.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no stopping that.
Let's talk about what the defensive scheme that the Jazz attempted to throw at James Harden. They said, let me put Rubio on your left hip and do what you want. It's like we're going to do high school basketball defense and force you to your offhand.
Yeah.
Which I heard Gilbert Arenas talk about something, which, by the way, Gilbert Arenas is one of the smartest basketball minds I've read in a while. That dude,
Zero, baby.
he knows his ins and outs. I know he acts like an idiot sometimes, but he knows his ins and outs. He was saying that if you force a guy to their offhand, all you're doing is forcing them to the side they're comfortable pulling up on. When you're a righty, going to your left side and pulling up is way more natural than going to your right side and pulling up because it's right on the side of your body.
That's true, yeah.
So you're just giving him more options. Same with his floater. And then not even to mention, when you get by someone, you're playing 4 on 5. You're telling me you want to play the whole game 4 on 5 with Harden with the ball in his hands?
And
It's
the shooters
ridiculous.
he has around him?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's an NBA basketball player. Like, he's extremely good going to the right. People know that. There's a lot of tape on it. He's an extremely efficient passer.
He not only is he an NBA basketball player, he averaged 36 this year, and you're giving him a lane to the basket.
Yeah,
It's just baffling. First of all, you're putting Ricky Rubio on him. That's your defensive stopper.
Jay Crowder, what happened, man? You had that conversation with Beverly. What's up, bro?
Donovan Mitchell. I thought Donovan Mitchell was a star. What happened?
Yeah, the whole lineup just looked flustered. It's like they were almost shocked about like how good Houston is on offense. They're one of the best offensive teams every single year. They like break their own record every single year for most threes made.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I think the one performance that I always flash back to on how to guard Harden is Josh Okogie in that one Minnesota game. I don't know, it was random in the middle and towards the end of the season, but Okogie just smothered him.
Mm-hmm.
Run him off the 3-point line. That's the only thing you can do. Stay down on that step back and contest and make him drive by you. I mean, it's impossible to guard this man. Everybody knows that, but just make it difficult.
He did, not to the same degree of extreme, but he forced him to his left hand. He let him have one step on his left hand and waited on that step back.
Yep.
And he would put his hands up and we'll run him to our big guy down low and see what happens. And the other thing I want to say about the Rockets is, and I was listening to Nick Wright, he was talking about this, they might have a better team than last year. They really might.
100%.
They're way deeper.
Yeah.
They're way deeper. Chris Paul should be healthy in the second round. I know I'm going to be watching that series.
Oh, so good.
PJ Tucker's having a great series or season.
Did last year too. Just couldn't quite hit some. It was Ariza last year, bro. That was was choking. Yeah. I agree with you.
They got Kevin Faried, who's a great backup for Clint Capella. They still got Shumpert just chilling on the bench if he needs to chase Steph around. Rivers gives you good minutes. Gerald Green's a strap shooter. Daniel House is a good player. I don't know where he came from, but he's a good player.
G League, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, so very dangerous roster.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I'm looking forward to hopefully a Warriors-Rockets second-round matchup. And again, like we said it, Clippers, just beat them up a little bit, Don't let them sweep. Beat them up a little bit. Rockets, beat them up even more. Even if you don't win, it's going to be a long, grinding series for the Warriors, which we have mentioned it, dude. They are, don't get me wrong, they're one of the best teams, one of the best dynasties in the NBA we've seen in a while. But, man, they were lucky early on. Lucky. Like, they avoided teams whose stars were injured. Kawhi got hurt. Like,
CP got hurt.
Lucky, exactly. So,
Kyrie.
Just make it difficult. Make them earn it. That's all. That's all we can ask for. So, so we'll see. Good games tonight. Looking forward to it. And we'll transition real quick. We'll hit two more topics and then we'll end it off. But the Lakers officially fired Luke Walton. It was funny. I was listening back to our last podcast and how we were like, Luke might stay. Like if he's not out by Thursday, Friday, like he's gonna stay. And then Friday, they mutually agreed to part ways, which is always
Mutually.
Yeah, which is always a weird way how they present that. But didn't take long for Mr. Luke Walton to join the Sacramento Kings.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. I think it's a great fit. Vlade Divac, his intro press conference with Luke Walton was a little awkward, though. He was like, me and Luke, we share the same spirit, basketball spirit. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? But this is a great young team. Just missed out on the playoffs this year. Man, Darian Fox, Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley. That's a good young core, bro. That is a very good young core. Some would say maybe better than Lonzo Kuzma Ingram. Some would say.
I wouldn't say that, but
some would say. So I think Luke is gonna be just a happy guy. How you feeling about the hire?
I like it. I think that's probably the team that suits him best. Just like a young team,
Yep.
Who likes to run, move the ball, players coach, guys who aren't old enough to not give him the respect that he was not getting on the Lakers. But I'll be honest, to me, what this seems like is the Kings trying to make another point of we're the better team in California. We're going to steal your guy, and he's going to be our next franchise coach. And we're going to laugh at you. Because did you see that viral video of all those Kings fans watching the Lakers get knocked out of playoff contention?
No.
There was they had it on in a bar.
Like a bar or something,
screen, yeah. And it was the game that eliminated them. They're all going nuts. So I'm just saying, I think that's just another case of someone trying to sabotage the Lakers, so they think. But personally, I still think Dave Yeager's a better coach than Luke Walton. He's proved more. He's coached better players, more experience, and he did a great job this year too. Probably the best Kings season they've had, even when Boogie was there. So yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I think that Kings team is a very, very good young core of players. So excited to see how they pan out.
Yeah, that'll be really good. Now the Lakers have a head coaching position to fill, obviously. People all day today were saying they interviewed Monty Williams earlier this week. He's a Sixers assistant right now. Mm-hmm. He's apparently the first choice. I really like that. I think Monty would be great with LeBron. Yep. If they don't get Monty, some believe that if the Sixers don't perform, that Monty might be in line for that head coaching position and Brett Brown will get fired. So if that happens, then Ty Lue will be the next choice, which again, whatever. I'm so over the Ty Lue thing, but if LeBron's happy, I'm happy. And then if Ty Lue doesn't work out, which I don't think it will, apparently Juwan Howard is third in line, which I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? You like the Monty over Ty Lue, or you still want something else?
I have always been a huge fan of Monty Williams.
Yeah.
I remember back to when he was coaching the Pelicans, and he brought that team to the playoffs.
Yes.
With a super young Anthony Davis. That just shows me he knows how to coach a superstar. And he was a young player.
And he was was he the Hornets coach too with like CP in them?
I believe he was, yeah.
Yeah, like he always had pretty solid teams.
And I feel like you sit LeBron in a room. I know he loves T. Lue. You sit LeBron in a room with Monty as opposed to sitting him in a room with Ty Lue. Like, who's going to sound like they know more of what they're talking about?
Oh, 100%.
Both former players, but I honestly think that LeBron's just kind of like helping his boy out, just getting him an interview. It doesn't feel like they actually want to hire T. Lue.
Yeah.
But also, the other thing that intrigues me about the Monty Williams thing is, like, why did the Sixers let them meet with them during the playoffs?
Well,
he's a pretty big part of the team.
Yeah, I think you're allowed to be interviewed by the team. Yeah, that's weird.
I get it.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's allowed, but shouldn't he be a little more focused on the team he's on?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, he's an assistant. He's got to keep his best interests open. I think what he said is, I'll tell you whatever, a little bit, but I'm focused on this right now. We'll talk later. Obviously, they can't introduce him right now as their coach. They'd probably love to do that, but then people be like, "What the bleep, dude? You're on the staff of the Sixers." Yeah, that is a little weird. Yeah, I think too, Monty brings in a good staff, and I think that goes a little unnoticed in today's NBA. is just everybody looks at the head coach, but the best head coaches in the league have incredible staffs right behind
Absolutely.
them. Popovich has a great staff.
Budenholzer.
Exactly. They have a good staff. Steve Kerr's got a lot of good people behind him. Mike D'Antoni's got good people. Brad Stevens has people that handle just his defense. Doc Rivers, the same thing. So I think Monty, more than T. Lue and Luke Walton, will bring in a much more respected, suitable staff to coach a team with LeBron James and hopefully a better roster for next year.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I do remember when the Pelicans decided to fire Monty Williams, Anthony Davis was super mad / sad about that.
Yep.
Drew Holiday loved him. They all had great things to say about him. So
yeah, then he went. He was on OKC staff, right, Monty, for a little bit. Yeah, and they loved him there.
I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, so I guess there's still a little bit to be written with how Philly's season go. I don't know. Maybe Philly's like, why are you guys interviewing him so early? Like, shit, maybe we should just make him the head coach. That could backfire on the Lakers. Like you said, hopefully interviewing him a little too early. But I at least like how the Lakers are already like in it. You know what I mean? Like they're already interviewing candidates. Like they're really trying to get the right person because they cannot screw up with this
By the way,
head coaching and the rest of the summer.
Little aside, and then we were going to talk about this, but I saw something that the newly appointed GM of the Pelicans, David Griffin, said.
Yeah.
He's already been talking to Rich Paul about Anthony Davis and has been very excited about what he could possibly get for him and what he could rebuild. So that is going to be very interesting to see this summer.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I also heard that there was a rumor that David Griffin might think he could convince AD to stay.
That's
so after talking with Rich Paul, I don't know, like it was just such a weird year for AD because I'm pretty sure didn't the Pelicans make a little bit of a run and like right, they were like 10th, right, or something in the West, and like that roster can work maybe if AD is allowed to play 35 minutes and maybe Griffin makes a couple changes here and there. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe he still hooks up his boy, but yeah, that would be super interesting. I think that was a very, very good hire for the Pelicans. One of the best guys in the league to get. So that should be interesting. Speaking of the brow, though, one of the best one-and-done seasons that we have ever seen, Mr. Zion Williamson, officially declared for the draft with like this like Instagram video. I guess like all of the top prospects are doing the same video because I saw Tyler Hero from Kentucky do the same video. Like, thank you so much, Kentucky. It's been the best year of my life, blah, blah, blah. Like, we get it, dude. You want to go to the NBA and make millions of dollars. It's fine. You don't need to act all like, whatever. You're going to miss college. But there's this graphic going around, and it's some of the best one-and-done seasons that we've seen. And I want to get your input on what you think was the best one-and-done season. Obviously, Zion was Player of the Year this year, Wooden Award winner, so it's going to be tough to top his. Anthony Davis at Kentucky had a great year. Kevin Durant at Texas, 25 points. He won the Naismith Award, 11 boards, 1.3. Zion, John Wall, Derrick Rose. I'm going to try the stats on this one-and-done graphic are a little skewed because AD's and Derrick Rose's are a little lower. That's because they were on really good teams, and they made it all the way to the chip in the tournament, which John Wall, KD, and Zion did not do. So I put that in a little bit more, but Durant probably had the best one and done season for me, followed by Zion, followed by AD, Rose, then John Wall. I know John Wall was a very good freshman, but they lost in like the second round. Yeah, I can't give you props on that. Like you get bounced by Northern Iowa or whoever they lost to.
Northern white boy. Yeah. I honestly, I think you'd be a little surprised. I think that AD had the best one and done season.
See, yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah,
he was probably the best defensive college player I've ever seen.
He was so dominant.
Like he literally, it'd be like, I'm pretty sure. First of all, I'm pretty sure he set a record for most blocks in a season.
Wouldn't surprise me.
For maybe a freshman, it might have been all time. I'm not sure, but I just remember there was like stat lines where he'd put up 20, 15, and like 9 blocks, and you were just like, oh my god, this guy is just completely dominant. The other fact that he won a chip as a freshman, super impressive.
Yep.
Right behind
most outstanding player.
Yeah, no, the whole thing. Right behind him, I'd probably put Zion.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Absolutely dominating. Plus the fact that he had probably the number 2, arguably number 3 now, prospect on his team, and the number whatever top 10, whatever, top 15.
Yeah.
Our Cam Reddish.
Yeah.
With all that talent on the team, he still put up like 23 a game and however many boards.
Without shooting jumpers. Like, let's keep that in mind.
Barely any jump shots.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because it seems like the only jump shot that Zion can shoot is the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
That's literally the only jump shot he could shoot. He had zero pull-ups to shoot.
That is true, yeah.
But yeah, Durant's probably right next because 25 a game as a freshman. Always been a walking bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Then, yeah, I'd probably put D Rose right there, and then John Wall probably right after that.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see this lineup: John Wall, D Rose, KD, Zion, AD, all in their prime. That'd be pretty fun to watch. I think this also just shows like all 5 of these guys didn't need to go to college.
No, not at all.
Could have gone straight from high school. So yeah, that being said, man, May 14th, I'm so nervous. It's either gonna be a great day for Knicks basketball or just another lottery.
Oh man,
we got Patty Ewing representing, so maybe we can work some magic. But I am so freaking nervous. It's gonna be torture. But anyway, all right, man. Thanks for taking the time to discuss some of these series. Hopefully, we'll get some more clarity as the weeks go on, and look forward to talking next, man.
Yep. I just want to give a quick shout out.
Yep.
To my boy Jamal Murray. I know we talked about him before, but one of my favorite players in the league, and I'm glad he's finally coming into his own. Hopefully, he can keep it going in the playoffs. So that fourth quarter blew my mind. So just thought I'd give him a little shout out.
Just cold-blooded, man. Cold-blooded. Word. All right, man. Until next time.
All right, brother.
Peace.